Okay, I will start again. Dear representatives of Alvarado cities and Alvarado Foundation, welcome to the 5th annual meeting of Alvarado cities to Kouvola, an Alvarado city. It is great that the Alvarado Foundation cherishes the legacy of the architect and designer that has been so important for Finland. The architectural heritage of Alvarado is manifest widely in Kouvola and in the region of Kymenlaakso as a whole. Kouvola services as the share of the international network of Alvarado cities in 2021. The network encompasses Kouvola and 21 other cities in Finland, Denmark, and Germany. We have gathered today to this meeting to discuss topics that all these cities share, and Alvarado's architecture at various levels and dimensions. Alvarado is the most renowned Finnish architect and designer internationally. During his versatile career, Aalto designed buildings and urban centers for projects both in Finland and elsewhere. Alvarado's architecture carries great value and significance also here in Kouvola. The Tehtaanmäki area in Inkeroinen, in particular, is a unique architectural site with the industrial milieu and the related residential area for the workers and the school building. The Kymijoki River and the associated wood processing industry has had a major role in the creation of the cultural environments and architectural attractions in Kouvola. Roads and railroads to Kouvola were built to support the operation of local industrial enterprises. The industrial communities that emerge include not only the actual industrial plants, but also the residential areas and functions such as churches, schools, and medical services that serve the workers and the other residents. When Tampella Corporation established the Anjala paper mill in Inkeroinen at the end of the 1930s, the architect Alvar Aalto was commissioned to design it. The work started with a plan of the building project of the mill area. This constitutes a foundation for the plans of the mill, warehouse, and production buildings. Stora Enso's Anjalankoski will now consist of the Inkeroinen board mill and Anjala paper mill. The mills and the surrounding industrial community make up a valuable constructed cultural environment where Alvar Aalto architecture is strongly present. In addition to several industrial buildings, Alvar Aalto's architectural firm designed items such as the Tehtaanmäki School, teachers' dwellings, new residential buildings for the mill workers, foremen, and senior technical personnel, and a building for medical services. The apartments were assigned to the mill employees at the cost of the materials. Not all plans were carried out, and some buildings have been modified from the original design. Until these days, the Tehtaanmäki School has been the only school building designed by Alvar Aalto that has been used for its original purpose. The events arranged during the Alvar Aalto week will discuss new uses for the school building that will no longer serve its original purpose in the future. Kouvola is the biggest garrison town in Finland, and the Finnish Defence Forces are actively present in Kouvola and make a significant stakeholder for the city of Kouvola. Alvar Aalto did his military service in the regiment of Central Finland in Kouvola in 1922-1923. While in military service, Aalto designed his first works for Kouvola. When the garrison area was renovated in 1922, the design of the refurbishment and interior decoration of the canteen were assigned to the architect Alvar Aalto, who had started his military service in the regiment in June that year. Moreover, Alvar Aalto designed the main gate and fence as well as the granite posts on the Marjoniemi side of the Garrison area in 1923. The post still welcomes passers-by to the area. Kouvola is currently celebrating an Alvarado week under the theme Kouvola, Alvarado, all over. This event is annual main event of a cooperation network involving architecture, design and art, as well as contemporary, cultural and historical phenomenon. The cross-cultural event provides a multifaceted program for friends of architecture, design, visual arts, music and dance. In Kouvola, the week celebrates the rich industrial traditions in Kouvola region. The events have been created through the cooperation of Alvarado Foundation and numerous event organizers, and there are events in many parts of Kouvola. I have the pleasure of welcoming you to Kouvola to this meeting, and also to get to know the constructed environment in Kouvola. Alvarado works in Kouvola area are a great example of a comprehensive designed environment, rendering the result of an interesting attraction. Further information of the many events during the Alvarado week and on Alvarado attractions in Kouvola is available on the website of Alvarado Foundation and City of Kouvola. Thank you and welcome.
Welcome everybody and good morning from my side as well. I'm Niina Heikkonen from the Alvarado Foundation, and I'm really glad to see so many people here and also in teams. Next in program we'll have a short introduction round, so I will call names and please tell who you are and where you come from. Let's start from this hall, people present in here. Alajärvi, Mayor Vesa Koivunen.
Good morning everyone. My name is Vesa Koivunen and I am Mayor of Alajärvi City. Nice to see you and hear you all.
Eura, Sirpa Wahlqvist.
Hello, I come from municipality of Eura and I work there as a director of cultural affairs.
Let's move for a while to teams. Helsinki City and Hanna Harris.
Good morning, everybody. Here I am, and very good to see you. And hopefully, in the close future, we will all be able to be in the same place as well. But so I'm Chief Design Officer at the City of Helsinki. Good morning, everyone.
Next, let's go to Imatra and Ari Lindeman.
Yeah, Ari Lindeman, future mayor of Imatra, starting 1st of September, and Tea Laitimo is our official member in the participant in the meeting.
Then we'll move to Kotka and Markku Hannonen.
Okay, good morning everybody. I'm from the neighboring city of Kotka and I work there as a city planning director.
Then we'll come to Kouvola, Vesa Toikka.
Good morning everybody. I'm Vesa Toikka, Head of Education here in Kouvola. Thank you.
And again in Kouvola, Hannu Tylli.
Good morning everyone. My name is Hannu Tylli and I'm Technical Director here in Kouvola.
Hannu Purho from Kouvola as well.
Good morning everybody. My name is Hannu Purho and I'm an area planning architect from Kouvola.
And Anne Käkie.
Administration.
Let's move to Lahti next. City architect Anne Karvinen-Jussilainen.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Anne Karvinen-Jussilainen and city architect from Lahti. Nice to see you all.
Up to north to Oulu with Marko Kilpeläinen. And Paimio, City Mayor Jari Jussinmäki.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jari Jussinmäki and I'm a mayor in the city of Paimio. Thank you.
City of Pori and Mayor Aino-Maija Luukkonen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aino-Maija Luukkonen and I'm mayor of Pori. Nice to meet you all.
We'll go next to Raasepori and Mayor Ragnar Lundqvist.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Ragnar Lundqvist from Raasepori in Swedish. Thank you.
And back to Lapland, Mayor Ulla Kirsikka-Vainio from Rovaniemi.
Good morning for everyone. Hello, my name is Ulla Kirsikka-Vainio, mayor of Rovaniemi, Arctic capital.
Do we have Mayor Ritva Viljanen from Vantaa still here? Okay, she will join us a bit later. Alvarado Foundation from Helsinki and Tommi Lind.
Hello, everybody. I'm the managing director of the Alvarado Foundation. Nice to see you all.
Also from Alvarado Foundation, Jonas Malmberg, please.
Good morning to everybody. Jonas Malmberg, the architect at the Alvarado Foundation. A pleasure to be here.
Alvarado Foundation as well, Mirkka Widgren. We don't hear Mirkka Widgren at the moment, but I know she's present in Teams.
Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. So I am Mirkka Widgren, the communications manager of the Alvarado Foundation, and it's a pleasure to see you all.
We have Anu Vainio and Laura Lehtinen from XAMPCA. They are not present here. Next we'll move to Denmark and Aalborg. Do we have people from Aalborg with us? Gitte Friis Terkelsen. Looks like they are not present. Do you know about Mayor? We'll meet them later. Next, Imatra again, and Tea Laitinen, please.
Hello and warm greetings from Imatra, and actually my name is Tea Laitimo and I'm a liaison director, and as our coming mayor Ari Lindeman already told, I'm the official representative, but I'm very happy that Ari had time to join this meeting. Have a very nice meeting today. Thank you.
I'm very sorry for my spelling mistake. Wolfsburg next. Do we have Esther Orant?
Yes, hello everybody from Wolfsburg in Germany. I'm working for the city of Wolfsburg for the Forum Architecture and will be the project manager of Alvarado Week 2022.
Thank you, Esther. Last one on the list, we have Tiina Marisalo from Helsinki.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm Tiina Marisalo. I'm the Director General of the Finnish Heritage Agency, and very happy to be here today. And some of you I have met earlier, but most of you are new acquaintances. So nice to meet you and have an interesting day.
Thank you, everybody. Is there still someone I haven't mentioned? Someone in here? No? What about in Teams? Please raise your hand. Looks like everybody is present. Next in the program, we'll have a short video of the ongoing Alvarado week here in Kouvola, and after that, we will have a speech from Tiina Marisalo.
Sähkötyöturvallisuuskortti perustuu SFS 6002
Let's not go for that. Okay, next in the program we will have a presentation from Tiina Marisalo. Please, floor is yours.
So, good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to be present here and share a presentation about Aalto's humane architecture, which is on a tentative list for the UNESCO World Heritage. But a short description what we do. Finnish Heritage Agency is a national office working under the Ministry of Education and Culture. And our task is to preserve Finland's material cultural heritage. And we collect, we study, and distribute knowledge of it. And we work as experts of culture environment in Finland. Well, that's short description. Would tell a lot more about that. But I will try to share you the presentation. Let's see how it is. Do you see it now?
Yes.
Do you see my
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so the architectural works of Alvarado, a human dimension to the modern movement. That's the name of the proposal on the tentative list for UNESCO World Heritage list. A little bit about the World Heritage Convention. UNESCO Convention concerning the protection of the world cultural and natural heritage was approved already in 1972. And it is a global decision to promote the treasuring, the preservation of unique cultural and natural heritage, the global heritage, our common heritage for future generations. And at the moment, there are 194 states which have ratified or accepted the convention. And each state which has ratified the convention, they can propose own sites to the list. And at the moment, there are over 1,120 sites from 167 states on the list. So it's a vast list. And every year, annually, the committee, World Heritage Committee, meets and decides for the new proposals on the list, as well as evaluates the situation of the sites which are on the list at the moment. From Finland, there are on the list already 7 World Heritage sites, or all over the country. From this is the list: Petäjävesi Old Church, Sammalahdenmäki Archaeological Site, a Bronze Age site, the Fortress of Suomenlinna, Old Rauma, Verla Groundwood and Board Mill, and Struve Geodetic Arc, which is actually in 10 countries in total. The line goes through Finland. And then there is Kvarken Archipelago, which is also in Sweden. So Finland and Sweden share this site. And the World Heritage Committee makes the decisions to include a site on the list. First, the proposed site must be included in the national tentative list. So we are with Aalto list. We are at this point now. And to be included on the World Heritage list, site must be of outstanding universal value. This is the OUV, which is sometimes, if you read the UNESCO papers, outstanding universal value, and it needs to meet at least 1 out of 10 selection criteria. I won't go further to these selection criteria. They can be read on the UNESCO site if you are interested in to read more precisely what they are. But I want to describe you the situation where we are at the moment with Aalto list. So the sites nominated to the tentative list should be estimated to fulfill the UNESCO selection criteria and are to be proposed to UNESCO World Heritage Committee in the next few years. So tentative list is kind of a technical step towards the proposal. Finland's previous national tentative list was from 2004, and already on that list there was Aalto's Paimio Sanatorium, and it was actually presented in UNESCO, but the committee, the feedback from that was that we should think in Finland about a larger variety of Aalto's buildings, so it might be more successful in that. So this is what we are doing at the moment. So this process of revising the tentative list from 2004 started in 2018, and it was a participatory and open call for proposals, for everybody could propose. And then after that, we got this about 60 proposals. A working group was formed, composed of Finnish Heritage Agency, Ministry of Environment, Helsinki University, Finnish Museum of Architecture, and ICOMOS Finland. And this group assessed all these proposals from the point of outstanding universal value. And as a result, Ministry of Education and Culture asked Finnish Heritage Agent to prepare a new proposal for tentative list with the name Architectural Works of Alvarado, a human dimension to the modern movement. Also on this list from Ministry was proposed that Ukonsaari, Holy Island from Sami area, Sami culture, was included in this new tentative list. But this summer, the Sami authorities asked it to be removed from the tentative list. So this process is ongoing now. So. But Aalto list we prepared in close cooperation with Alvarado Foundation and ICOMOS Finland, and it was ready in last December, and it was sent to the ministry. Now we are at this moment. We are working from this tentative list to the final proposal, and during the process from tentative list to the final proposal to UNESCO, there's a lot of work to be done. The proposal shall be finished, its final form, the criteria will be checked, and a comparative analysis is made. Questions of protection and maintenance are to be solved during this process. A management plan for each site is prepared, and all stakeholders will be heard. And as you can imagine, as we have 13 sites now on the list, it's a long and demanding process. And during this process, also sites can be removed or added or substituted on this list. So this work is now beginning. We have made last spring the working plan for the next coming years, and Finnish Heritage Agency is the process and project owner. And of course, we are working in close collaboration with Alvarado Foundation and also ICOMOS Finland, but also collaboration with all of you, these 13 cities, which are included on the list, and also the site owners is essential and actually imperative. We cannot do this without you. Steering group and scientific group will be formed. We need a project manager as well other research experts, and therefore we need some funding. So we have made a budget proposal to Ministry of Education and Culture last spring or summer, and now we are a little bit afraid that we're not going to get the money we are proposing. So this is a bit challenge for us. The state budgets are really tight at the moment, but we are looking opportunities to raise money, of course, for this, and also propose it again to the Ministry of Education. The total budget for the coming years is roughly about 400,000 euros. So let's see how it goes. This work includes the description and presentation of sites, their evaluation and value assessment and argumentation. So a lot of research work to be done, comparative analysis, and also preservation and protection plans and processes where we need, of course, the cities of these sites, management plans for each site. So there's a lot of collaboration with the owners of the buildings, and also follow-up plans and of course documentation needed. So there will be a publication about these 13 sites. This preparation, as you can understand, will take several years. So we are going to start next year, 22, and hopefully be ready at the end of 24. And then the UNESCO assessment process takes about 1.5 years after the proposal and until the committee makes the decision. So it's a long process. And if the proposal is ready to be sent in January 2025, the nomination would be then debated and decided in summer 2026. So this is the time schedule of this project. And here are the sites. Thank you for Alvarado Foundation for the photos that you sent to me. So here's the list, and there's a short excerpt from the submission we made. I'm not going to read that, but it sort of describes this importance of Alvarado's work in the international modernism, modern movement, and the impact it has made, and also, I think the human aspect here is the thing that we are sort of emphasizing. As you see in this submission in excerpt, that while the sites clearly highlight modernism key characteristics and philosophy, they take the ideas of modernism further than the works of contemporary designers. So I think this is the value, the high value that we are trying to emphasize here during this proposal work. So here are the sites. Studio Aalto, these are first the Helsinki site, Studio Aalto. I'm not going to tell, maybe if Tommy or Jonas would then want to add something to this, but I will just show you the picture so they get the impression that which are the sites. And then the Aalto House, also in Helsinki, in Munkkiniemi, with beautiful interiors as well. Finlandia Hall, owned by Helsinki City. National Pensions Institute in Töölö in Helsinki. House of Culture in Helsinki as well, and at the moment it is owned by the state, but it's in the process of the state is the Senaatti Kiinteistöt, the Senaatti properties are going to sell it. So it's interesting to see what the new proposal and new owner will be. Then there is Jyväskylä University campus area. And in Jyväskylä also Marisalo Experimental House from the 50s, and Saunatsalo Town Hall, also in the Jyväskylä area. And then in Paimio, there's people from Paimio present, the beautiful Paimio Sanatorium, which has now new purposes as well and opening up to the audiences as well. Seinäjoki Civic Center. And then in Kotka, Sunila Pulp Mill residential area. And Pori, Villa Mairea Noormarkku, the Gulliksen family home with beautiful interiors as well. Vuokseniska Church from Imatra. And that's all. That's all the 13 cases. So hopefully we are going to be able to proceed in this proposal next year and start working with this and within the time schedule be ready then in 2024 to present this to the Ministry of Education. So here's the short presentation of the where we are now at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiina. And now we have a possibility to propose questions or comments to Tiina Marisalo. There's one, please.
Good morning. My name is Vesa Koivunen and I'm mayor of Alajärvi city. Thank you for nice and interesting presentation. It's a really great thing to apply that Aalto's World Heritage status. And my question is concerning that thing that in Finland we have about 25 cities which have Aalto's building. And for example, in Alajärvi we have 9 buildings, both Aalto's early season and late season buildings. So my question is that proposed list final, or do we have any chance to get our Aalto's building into that list? And if so, how can we get them into that list? Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. And of course, as you mentioned, there are a lot of very, very important Aalto buildings around Finland. Maybe Tommi Lind, who has been part of the preparation of the tentative list, there's nobody else now from Finnish Heritage Agency, and I started actually in spring 2020, so I have not been involved in the discussions before last year. So maybe Tommi Lind could open up a little bit about why these decisions were made and how they were made, because I understand that Alajärvi, for example, was of course considered, but then I also want to say that the list cannot be too big. I mean, it's too vast, and it's difficulties with that if we try to do and then we have other means to share the knowledge and to share this Aalto heritage, like for example the tourist route, which Tommi will tell about later. So can you, Tommi, are you there? Can you a little bit open, because I have not been involved in those discussions.
Yep.
So thank you.
Thank you, Director General. But just to give a little bit of background to the question Vesa Koivunen just made, this list of tentative sites from Finland, the proposal for this Alvarado nomination for the tentative list, it came from the Aalto Foundation. So that was in a way the first part in this process. And like Tiina said, there are many different phases in making a national nomination to the World Heritage Committee, and at the moment we're in a state where we have finalized the tentative list proposal or tentative list description of this serial nomination to be. And what this group consisting of members from ICOMOS, Finnish Heritage Agency and Alvarado Foundation came up with was a thematic list. So we tried to, of course, went through all the important Aalto sites in Finland and abroad. And after the Lahti seminar, we dropped these outside of Finland sites away from the list and decided that this first nomination would be only Finnish sites. And in Finland, we came up with these 13 different themes. And out of each theme, we proposed the site which we thought had the best possibility to be nominated or inscribed in the list. And of course it was group work, and as I understand, this nomination, even after 24, if it's accepted and inscribed in the World Heritage List, it can be amended. So, for instance, the sites we had in mind from outside Finland, like the Viipuri Library or Wolfsburg Cultural Center or the MIT Baker House Dormitory near Boston, they could be nominated as an amendment to this nomination. But like I said, and like Tiina said, we're still working with the list that we have just put on the Finnish tentative list in the UNESCO site. It can be found also in the UNESCO site. And making changes to this list is, of course, possible. But this 5-person group came up with these as a thematic whole. That's all I can say, because of course we had discussions and everyone had his or her own opinions on what to take and what not to take on the list. But if this answers your question from this point of view.
Yeah, Ragnar Lundqvist from Raasepori. Of course, when successful, it will be valuable for all the Aalto sites in Finland. So that we hope that this will be successful. But my question is about the competition. Are you aware? Are there similar sort of projects elsewhere that you compete with? And what do you think about our chances, really? Of course, it's difficult to predict, but is it 50-60 or what do you think? Thank you.
Of course, we are very, very hopeful that this will succeed, and there are signs, of course, that this might be successful from the earlier discussions. Of course, there are other architects on the World Heritage List, well, now blackout came. Well, anyway, so there are other modernist architects as well there, but emphasizing this humanistic value and universal outstanding value and importance and influential architecture that Aalto has, I think we have good chances here with this proposal. But there are of course a lot of challenges still a lot of work before we are there. So the preservation and protection discussions and maintenance plans and so on, as I mentioned, are demanding work to be done together with you.
First of all, here is Ritva Viljanen. First of all, I want to congratulate again Tiina Merisalo, the new Director General in Finnish Heritage Agency. It's a great loss to Helsinki and the whole capital region that you left us, but it's in the same time it's very good that we have people who know the local administration and cities, so I'm very happy that you have this great position and you have done in Helsinki so beautiful work. So it's nice to hear that we keep in good condition with Alvarado houses in everywhere and flats in everywhere in Finland. But how you see the situation? Are they taken care of in very well? Is the condition of Alvarado designed houses good in our country as a whole? I think that cities and municipalities take care of them quite well, but is my opinion or how I see, is it wrong or right? So how you see the situation as a whole? Thank you.
Thank you, Ritva, and thank you for your kind words. I think the situation varies quite a lot. We have, of course, city-owned buildings are mostly in good condition, but we have private owners who take good care of them. We have, I think, we have churches which have challenges due to the economy. So the situation varies quite a lot. We have that is one of the questions that we have to deal with, how in which state and what kind of reparations and conservation processes there are needed to preserve these buildings in different parts of the country. But in general, I think this list which we have now, these 13, is in quite good condition. But then, of course, there are other ones. I think in the industrial heritage, for example, is a challenge. But you are going to talk about that later. I had the opportunity this summer on my holiday to have a short visit to Kouvola, to Inkeroinen, and I saw that there are some reparations going on, and actually I quite don't even know who owns the buildings. Is it the companies who still own these, and what kind of invests they are ready to make? But it would be interesting to hear about that more. Tommi also and Jonas, they know better the overall situation about the conditions of the buildings. So if you want to add, so go ahead.
Yes, as Tiina told, the situation varies a lot, but in general, I would say that we are in relatively good status in the most of the cases. At least not immediate threat for demolishing is no longer in discussion. Of course, some exceptions have been quite recently, but they have been, or we have been able to stop these discussions. But of course, especially the buildings which are maybe losing the original purpose of use, and some of those are a little bit neglected at the moment. But we are, of course, working to get more activities for the buildings and promote the buildings. And in the tentative list, I think the most problematic building at the moment is Vuokseniska Church, which was, I would say, quite quite impressive building already in the beginning, and it was created with such an enthusiasm which had caused some problems to be solved, which are both technical and also related with the use, since as we all know, the number of inhabitants in these industry areas are less than what they used to be, and so on. But we have, even there, we have good, very strong expert group which is working on the preparations, and the repair fundraising had already been starting, and we are looking forward to get some good news even within these years to get started. But of course the work is to be done all the time, and our latest partner in my job is conservator at the moment. We thought that would be a new extension to our work, so that we would start to discuss hopefully more about the value of patina and how we should allow the buildings to get older in a beautiful way. And as we heard, there are some Aalto buildings in Kouvola region from the 20s, meaning that the first sites are getting to be 100 years old. So I think it's the time to allow these to get older in a beautiful way, and the question of patina and maintenance in that way, and our expertise with new conservator is to promote also that part in the maintenance. But as said, it's all the time it's a question from the owners and their goodwill, and of course the use is needed for each of the buildings, and these questions we will meet even in the heart of Helsinki, as you said the building which used to be for Heritage Agency used the House of Culture. It's half empty at the moment, and the owner is willing to sell it, and all these steps are also crucial for each building every time. So there are lots of things to be done, but of course, like a group like this Aalto Cities Network and the work in cooperation with Heritage Agency and local responsibility museums is strong, and we are in general in relatively good status, I would say, compared to built heritage in general.
Thank you, Jonas. There was a continuing comment from Vesa Koivunen, please.
Thank you. I'm going back to my original question. Thank to Tommy your answer, and if I understood right, there is still possibility to have a conversation about that list, and that would be really important for Alajärvi city, and I think so that there are also some other cities as well. If we can check that list and think about it, that are there any chance to have our buildings there? Thank you.
We'll get a comment from Tommy to this one.
Yes, so not to roast Tiina anymore with this question. I think that this has been a very good discussion, and this is actually the first time the Heritage Agency and the instances that are behind the future nomination done by Finland have been talking about this subject with other cities than the 7 that have the 13 sites in the tentative list. So it's very important for us, and I understand also the agency, to to hear these opinions and have this kind of discussion, because this is Finland is not a dictatorship. We still have discussions, and if you have well well prepared and well backgrounded suggestions, that's of course always a possibility to discuss. But like I said in my first answer, this process started with an open proposal round where we got 60 different proposals, and these proposals could be done by anybody in Finland. Not only specialists, but anyone could do it. And so at least the beginning of this updating of the Finnish tentative list was very open and very democratic. So let's see how things proceed. But thank you for the questions, and I think this is an important start of a series of discussions.
Yes, thank you for your question, and I won't go further to it, but just to say that at the moment, of course, we are starting to work with these 13 cases. But as I said, that if there are changes, for example, if the owner doesn't want to have the site on the list, of course, we are not going to present it to the final proposal. So there might be these kind of changes, but basically the work starts with these 13 sites, and it's important, as Tommy said, that we hear also the other sites, and it's of course it's very challenging and it's very difficult to make these kind of decisions, but you have to have sort of discussions and criteria fulfilling proposals which have sort of which we see that might be successful in the future. So this kind of thematic approach which Tommy described has been for us an important way to proceed here. But thank you for the opportunity for hearing these ideas, and I keep it behind my ear, and we'll talk further. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everybody for the questions, and I suppose we can move forward in the program. Next we will hear Tommy Lind talking about Alvarado route.
Okay, thank you, Nina, and thank you, Director General, and thank you, President of the Aalto cities, for this possibility to tell you a little bit about a simultaneous project we have had with the World Heritage nomination. So, and because now we're not talking about UNESCO, but we're talking about the Council of Europe. And the Council of Europe has had for a couple of decades now a certified group of cultural routes in Europe. Routes that are like the Santiago de Compostela pilgrim route, the St. Olaf route and Hansa, Viking, etc. Even there's a route called the Iron Curtain route, and the whole Finnish eastern border is part of that route. And it's a cycling route, which makes it even more interesting. But like Tiina Marisalo said, that all the Aalto sites that we have in the world are part of this community, and it sounds like many people in Kouvola have died because the church bells are tolling constantly. But in this this Aalto route, now that we have it certified since the spring of this year, all sites can join. So we don't have any restrictions in the route policy. And in fact, it's the other way around. The Council of Europe demands that we have to be able to take new members to this route association. But I will go into that a little bit later. Of course, it's all about Alvarado and his career and the fact that he was one of the few Finnish architects who already in the 1930s and of course after the World War II continued to have commissions abroad, outside of Finland. And now that we're talking about the Council of Europe, of course we have the European sites in mind. And you can see the cities in this map where we have Aalto sites in Europe. A lot in Finland, but surprisingly much also in the rest of Europe. And we have only just begun to take advantage of this network that we have. And I can say at this point that Wolfsburg and Aalborg are already members of the network of Alvarado cities, but we have discussions with others like Viipuri, Reykjavik, and even Riola di Vergato. So, and I have had contacts also with all of these European cities. What we need to do next after the COVID is, I guess I have to travel and go and meet all the mayors of these cities, and maybe in that way we'll be able to go ahead in expanding our network. First, I would like to describe the operational environment where the Alvarado Foundation works, and that's why, because we're a facilitator of this Alvarado route and this cultural travel association. I guess I would like to describe you why we are interested in doing that kind of work. So the environment where the foundation works consists of many types of partners. We have, of course, the Alvarado cities as a very, very important partner group, and the Alvarado route is a child of that cooperation. I guess the first, first real fruit. We have the architecture field, Arkinfo, Architects Association. We do cooperation with Alvarado Medal, for instance, with this group of partners. We have architects' foundations around the world, which means foundations that have been created around one architect, like Frank Lloyd Wright, Charles Eames, or Mies van der Rohe, and the most important and the foundation that also appears to be closest to us is the Le Corbusier Foundation, working in Paris. Then we have companies like, we have the old companies like Artek and Fiskars, and then we have new partners like the Getty Foundation, Vitra, and Takenaka in Japan. We have, of course, the universities, Aalto University, Tampere University, Jyväskylä University, Cambridge in Great Britain, and Harvard and MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And of course, last but not least, all the other museums and Museum of Finnish Architecture, Design Museum in Finland, and the International Convention of Architectural Museums. This is our organization. What we do, I won't go deeper into this, but you see that the things that are shown on the edges of the foundation are also the places where we do cooperation with others. Something we don't do alone, but we do in cooperation with other partners. We have tremendous networks already by now, starting with the ones I already mentioned, the One Architect Foundations. This network cooperation started already in the 1970s and has been continuing. ICAM, the Alvarado Museum, was a founder of ICAM. It's a confederation of architecture museums in the world. That cooperation and that network started in 1979 in Helsinki. We have been also founding members of the Finnish Docomomo and taken part in the work of International Docomomo. And Docomomo means, of course, documentation and conservation of modern movement. Building sites and neighborhoods. We were creating PLACE, which is an architecture education network for children, and this started in 2003. We were founders of the Iconic Houses Network, starting in 2012. The Alvarado Researchers Network started already before 2012, but the first seminar was in 2012. Then we have the network of Alvarado City starting from 2017 and the Alvarado route from 2021. So very, very impressive group of networks that we are members already. Then, of course, you know the events, the symposia, the design seminars, research seminars, and latest, the Alvarado Weeks. And we have had very successful Alvarado Weeks in Jyväskylä, Seinäjoki, Turku, Paimio, Pori, Eura, and now in Kouvola. And the next Alvarado Week will be in Wolfsburg, Germany. I want to mention training, because training also creates good relations inside these networks. We've had the Conservation of Modern Architecture course, and now we're starting cooperation with Denmark, Norway, and Sweden with this Nordmac course, where we have a master's degree course on restoration. Not only modern architecture, but restoration in general. And the Finnish module in this course is concentrating on modern architecture and Aalto sites. In the future, we hope to create, together with our partners, a digital education platform. And we have already started planning this together with the Richard Neutra Foundation in Los Angeles. Here are some facts about our visibility. Our website, Alvarado Fi, in the internet has more than 500,000 views per year. In Instagram, we have 21,900 followers, and per post, we have from 200 to 2,000 likes. In Facebook, we have almost 10,000 likes, not so many likes per post. In Twitter, 3,800 followers. In Pinterest, 3,100 followers. But in Pinterest, 150,000 views of our material per month. This might be something that interests you. It's a diagram showing how the international network of Alvarado cities and the Alvarado Foundation are connected. We have this new Alvarado Route Association, and it's actually the missing part between the cities and the foundation. So there are some things, some activities on the right side, which Alvarado Foundation does with other partners, but the Alvarado Week and the Alvarado School cooperation, that we do together with you, the Alvarado cities. And now to our subject, the Alvarado Route, which is also called 20th Century Architecture and Design Route. We started working on this already in 2018. It was published in the Venice Biennale that May 2018, and we have coordinated activities and curated services for route members. And we have an international network of route members who can plan and execute common activities and campaigns. Members of the Route Association, like I said, anyone can apply, but what we need is to have as many Aalto sites that are open to the public included in this route. And the initiative for this route came from the Alvarado Foundation by funding from the Ministry of Education and Culture and the Alvarado cities in Europe. And like I said, the development has so far been supported by the ministry, and new route members, sites and countries are invited to join. I will go into more detail there. The association, which is a new association created for this application, so it hasn't operated very long, but hopefully it will become more active in the following years. The association may accept members which can be organizations such as cities, municipalities, consortiums of municipalities, and city or municipality-owned private companies, schools, universities, academies, national cultural route associations, which are already existing, they can also become members, real estate companies, service providers operating in Alvarado sites or near them. They don't necessarily have to be on the site, but somewhere in the vicinity of the Aalto site. Sales and services providers operating in tourism, helping people access the Aalto sites. Other organizations fostering architecture and design heritage. So as you can see, almost anyone can join. Going ahead, the online services that we already have in the Visit Alvarado FI site, we have now more than 60 Aalto sites and almost 30 tour programs sold by 15 travel agencies and the sites, participants from 26 Alvarado cities, and in this case we mean all the cities that have Aalto sites, regardless of them being members of this network or not. We have over 100 service providers. We have now we have 5 language versions of the Visit Alvarado Fi service, Finnish, English, Japanese, Russian, and now also in German. And we have information about 150 pages, and including over 600 photographs. Some visitor information in the visit site. Approximately 40,000 visitors, 100,000 page views a year. The most common languages of the users are Finnish, then comes English, Japanese, Russian, and 16% others. Traffic source by country would be Finland, 50%, then comes Japan, Russia, USA, United Kingdom, Italy, and others. And these are numbers from before the COVID virus. And traffic searches, sources that have brought people to this Visit Alvarado Fi site, 70% from search engines and 15% direct traffic, which means our advertising, and 12% from referring sites, meaning magazines, other media. For further information, we have Nora Kiili, who is still the producer at the Alvarado Foundation, working until next spring. You can contact her if you have ideas for partners or members in the association. There's me, of course, you can always contact me. I will be happy to answer any kind of questions. Then we have the new president of the board, Heli Leinonkoski from the city of Jyväskylä. She's president of the board of the Route Association. And then in the Ministry of Education and Culture, we have advisor Anne Mattero. But this is all I wanted to say to you about this Alvarado route. Maybe a small advertisement. A new book from the foundation, Inkeroinen Industrial Community. And we're hoping to make this kind of books from every Aalto site in the world. And this is volume 25 in this series. So we have 25 square books already made. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tommi. We'll go on with the program with the presentation from Hannu Purho, Kouvola. Please, Hannu.
Okay, good morning everybody. My name is Hannu Purho and I'm area planning architect from Kouvola. I'm going to show you a little, like a short presentation of from Alvarado's works at Kouvola. At first I have to apologize, my English, it's a little bit rusty and my pronunciation and some expressions could be a little bit misleading. But I hope that you guys will get over it later on. Okay, let's get started. We all know that Alvarado was born in Kuortane in 1898, and he was the oldest son of the four. And then he was very keen of drawing and painting, and after he matriculated from Jyväskylä Lyceum in 1916, he went to start his architectural studies in Helsinki Polytechnic. And that year in Finland was quite turbulent, and even the Finland got her independence, and there were a lot of riots and demonstrations. So Alvar Aalto also, with his classmates, joined to Suojeluskunta movement, which was the like a semi-military organization. He was even arrested by Red Police in 1918, and when the civil war started, Alvar Aalto escaped with his friends to northern part of Finland and joined to White Army. And this picture represents the situation in a civil war in late March. Aalto took part of the battles in the civil war, and finally he ended to the siege of Tampere region. And he joined the voluntary Swedish troops to battles in Tampere, because Aalto was fluent in Swedish also. And actually the civil war affected to Aalto quite much, and Göran Sild, who wrote a lot of books about Aalto, he told that Aalto never did mention anything about the civil war. And all the things that has been written are said by his brothers who took the fighting also. Okay, the civil war ended in 1918, and Aalto returned back to his studies in Helsinki Polytechnic. And he finally graduated as an architect in 1921 and established his own architectural office. But meanwhile, in Kouvola happened something which has a future meaning for Alvar Aalto. The Mid-Finland regiment was established, and it was in Hämeenlinna, and it was moved to Kouvola almost a little bit over 100 years ago. It was situated in a Red Imperial Army barracks, which were built like the army built 3 similar barrack sites, garrisons in this southern east part of Finland. The Hennala garrison in Lahti, Korea, and Kasarimäki garrisons in present Kouvola area. And in that time, the Jägers came from Germany, and they brought the idea of canteen and garrison home, a military home-based home type of place in a military area. And when the Finnish troops came to the Kasarmimäki, they started the renovation project. And the first garrison home was located into the house in the middle of the area. It's shown here in a red. Actually, Alvar Aalto, even though he was the veteran of the Civil War, but he didn't do his compulsory military service, so he was ordered to come to Kouvola to join his own regiment, but in a new place. And actually, in his military service card says that he had to come to Kouvola in the 1st of June in 1922, but he came a little bit later because he had to finish his designs to Tampere Fair, National Fair. And when actually the Finnish Sotilaskotiliitto's archives in Helsinki, they had a document that showed that Alvar Aalto was applying a different date to come to army, and at that time they were proposing him to design the interior of the military home. So when Alvar Aalto came to Kouvola, he immediately started to decorate the space. He had 2 or 3 fellows with him, and he did some sort of medieval decorations. The motifs there were like medieval soldiers with helmets and spears and axes and shields, and he designed the interior furniture also. But the space was quite small, and it was designed for 200 soldiers. But at that time, there were already 800 soldiers at that place. So because the Alvar Aalto was also a veteran of the Civil War, the army ordered him to go to Hamina to the school. The second military home in Kasarmäki was built in 1931, and nowadays the old military home has gone through many of different stages and different renovations, and the space is not longer there anymore. So all the motifs and all kind of drawings and stucco are gone. But like I said, the military ordered Alvar Aalto go to the School of Officers in Reserve in Hamina. And he took part of the 4th course of the school. And why that's important? No, the importance is that Alvar Aalto, he didn't have a lot of he didn't like the authorities, so he tried to do something else. So he was the part of the course's celebration, and he did the decoration of the space. And a little bit later on, 2 years ago, the decorations came to the brand mark for the school, and it's still used as a shoulder badge in RUK. And when Alvar Aalto came back from Hamina to Kouvola, he got a lot of other design tasks. The gates and the fences of the garrison were still in Imperial Russian states, so Alvar Aalto designed a proper entrance to the garrison area, gate and the fences. And then there was the Marjoniemi gate, which was actually the gate bows were disappeared in 1990s when city of Kouvola did some reorganization with the roads, but they finally there was one history book, and after that the person who took the post brought them back, and finally they were re-erected in 2015. And actually, this is an old picture because the main gate is renovated 2 weeks ago. And these are the latest, not the latest, but the oldest Alvar Aalto's designs in Kouvola. But we, like Marita told, Alvar Aalto came to this region to design a paper mill. Okay, that was the extension of a little bit like a Sunila paper mill area. Okay, Sunila was started from the scratch, but this was the extension of old copper mill. All these industrial areas are difficult as as a point of view of restoration buildings or save buildings, because the process is always the most important thing. And in every time when the process changes, then they change the buildings, and then they build new buildings. And it is some sort of match mix of different buildings of different areas. And also it's difficult because all these are functional factories, and you are not allowed to go there nowadays. But like I said, there was also an older mill. In this picture, you could see in the top of the picture, there's an Anjala paper mill, but there's also an Inkeroinen cardboard mill. So the part of the task for Alvarado was also to renovate and think about some sort of reuse for the old buildings of the cardboard factory from the beginning of the 20th century. At that time, all those areas were very hierarchical states, so there were buildings for the workers, and the buildings for the engineers, and the buildings for and areas for the higher staff, for the bosses of the area. So Inkeroinen Tehtaanmäki area is still under construction. There are a lot of renovations going on, and it's company owned. So Stora Enso owns the area. And there is one house which is open for public and for tours also. At later on 1950s, Aalto's office designed more apartment blocks for the workers. They designed also a big housing area which accommodates 55 different A-type houses. There's a shop and a sauna building, plumbing station, and electrical plant also. And it is also preserved quite well. And we have a project with that also to find out how to preserve the look of the area. Okay, there were a lot of new housing in the area, so they need some facilities for that also. So the Tehtaanmäki primary school was designed and built before the Winter War, and it's still functional school, and it's quietly. If you go then in school, you could think that okay, this is well preserved, but actually it is not. There is a very extensive renovation project in the beginning of the 21st century, and it's done quite well. And Tehtaanmäki Koulu is also a important house because it includes most of it's like some sort of a collaboration of different type of motives and different type of ideas that Aalto used his buildings in 30s and 40s. And it's very nice place to visit. And like I said, that there was a need of different type of supporting facilities also. So they designed a healthcare center and staff apartments to Inkeroinen region. There are like a Säynätsalo house is there, experimental house. In Sippola we had a medical center, and we even have a Elsa Aalto's designed house here in central Kouvola. And you wonder how to navigate and how to explore all these places in Kouvola region. Okay, I did an architectural map a couple of years ago. It includes a short description of every subject. There is a map that you could just walk through the area, and also it has been translated in English, so it's easy to distribute to the foreign speaking customers. But we have also city of Kouvola, we have a good internet sites, and we added a little bit background information for different type of buildings and sites. And you probably are also know that there are individual private sites, different maps. People are keeping some Alvarado blogs and traveling like books. And probably you remember that I told you that there was in the beginning of 50s, there was a new apartment blocks in the area. So you are able to increase your knowledge of Alvarado. So you could go there and buy some apartments also. They are quite cheap. And I could say that if Kouvola in property prices, if we are not the cheapest, but we are almost close as the cheapest town in the Finland. So there's a special price for you yesterday, 29,500 euros just for you, just for today. And that was it. And if you have some questions, I could answer here or just later on when we have a break. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannu. That was very interesting and quite an impressive amount of all the buildings in this area, indeed. More than 100. Hannu continues. While the Alvarado Week 2021 is still going on here in Kouvola, we'll have a peek to the next year's Alvarado Week in Wolfsburg. Next, we'll hear a presentation from Esther Orant from Wolfsburg.
Yes, thank you very much. I'll have prepared a short presentation, just trying to share it with you. Just a moment. I hope you can see my presentation right now.
Yes, we can see it well.
Okay. Yes, I was asked to give you an update on what we are planning for Alvarado Week 2022. And since our last meeting, there have been some few things pushed forward, but I have to say the main week on developing the program, finding the partners, etc., will just start in, I think, about 2 weeks when the summer holiday season in Germany ends. So we have a lot of meetings in the beginning of September, but I can tell you a few things we have developed, continued right now. Perhaps first of all, an update on the schedule we have planned for Alvarado Week 2002. And in fact, there is no update on the schedule, which is in fact a good news because when checking, there were no objections against how we were timing the Alvarado Week, because we want to start at the end of October, beginning of September, because on August 31st is the actual 60th anniversary of Alvarado Cultural Center here in Wolfsburg, and that's when we like to start, and we'd like to end with Alvarado Week on Sunday, 11th of September, because there is the National Day of Open Monuments in Germany, and that's always a good opportunity to get more public attention. And we are still planning to invite you, the representatives of the Alvarado Cities Network, for at least 2-day program to Wolfsburg. Then we are also planning on having a symposium, a conference, working together with the local cultural heritage preservation office, doing that conference. And of course, the main event will be Alvarado Week itself. And for us, Alvarado Week will be a very important chance to for reviving the awareness and the appreciation of Alvarado buildings in Wolfsburg, because or what we are aiming for is, or what we are working on is that if people are asked what is special about Wolfsburg, what do you think about when thinking of Wolfsburg, we want them not only to say Volkswagen, we want them not only to say the local soccer team, but we also want them to say it's Alvarado. That is very important and typical for Wolfsburg. Yes, that was the no update on the schedule. Then we have been working on what to do at the opening event. We were thinking about what can we do that speaks to local citizens coming to that event, but what does also speak to an international public visiting Alvarado Week. And we were trying to find something that would work as a sort of non-verbal cultural program for that event, and were actually able to win our first cooperation, our first partner, that is the local theater that will work together with us for that opening event. And they will be starting in September, October on developing a theatrical performance by working on and by analyzing, examining Alvarado's spaces and architecture, and from that developing a performance to be shown at the opening event, and of course of some dates later. And they're not sure yet whether they're working with two or one or two theater groups. There is the possibility of working with the children's and youth theater, but there also is an adult and integration group that may always also join the work. And we are also quite sure that the event will take place not at Alvarado Cultural Center, but at the Stephanus Parish Center, because it's a very good room, a space to have that kind of performance, and also invite a lot of people in to join us. The next thing we were working on is what we call the main attraction, the main event, or the picture that would stay in mind after Alvarado Week is over. And as I said in the beginning, to us it's kind of a matter of the heart that the Alvarado architecture and first of all the Alvarado Cultural Center remains or is revived as an important identification and meeting space in the heart of the city of Wolfsburg. And especially after the last 2 years of COVID lockdown, the building has been sadly very, very empty, and that is something that doesn't quite fit the idea of Alvarado's design for the cultural center, that was designed as a space for meeting, for cultural communication and activities. It was designed as the very first municipal cultural building in Wolfsburg. It had in it originally in the 1960s the public library, with the children's library, a youth center and an adult education center, and sadly today it is only occupied by the public library, and we are looking for ways to invite the public again into this building and make it their own. So here are a few impressions on how it looks today. And what we were thinking to do is create, at least for the Alvarado week, the Alvarado Cultural Center Cafe. The idea is to open up the building to the surrounding marketplace, to make it more visible and actively invite people in, to create a sort of pop-up cafe on the ground floor that can be a meeting place during the Alvarado week, a general info point. We want to create a photo point on the marketplace to create a lot of pictures that we can share on all the social media channels. We do have also create an event space for Aalto Week, and also attract young people that are having a very strong affinity to this kind of mid-century architecture, but at the moment have no business being here in Alvarado Cultural Center. So we think that might be a first step for a more long-term goal we are following. That is, as I said, connecting the ground level of the building with the public space, the surrounding marketplace, raise new attention and re-establish Alvarado Cultural Center as an urban meeting space. And we hope this could be a successful trial, a way to show this could work. This is a way how it could work to reactivating this place. We found already some partners to do that. We found a gastronome, a coffee roastery that will be being the gastronome of the pop-up cafe, and we already have a partner for developing the interior design of that cafe. That would be the University of Applied Science and Arts in Hanover, that is very nearby to Wolfsburg. They will be starting at the beginning of October, developing their designs, and we hope that during that design process, starting in October, we will be able to already raise attention to the cultural center, but also to Alvarado Week 2022. So we are very softly starting to communicate that event next year. Yes, a third thing we were already working on is that we would love to create a architectural guide, a guidebook on Alvarado in Wolfsburg, on the 3 Aalto buildings we do have in Wolfsburg. The target audience would be mainly architectural tourism, people taking day trips to Wolfsburg. We would love to have that in English and German, and we're planning on doing a sort of budget-friendly, handy-size, compact information for generally improving accessibility for individual visitors and enhancing visibility. Because this is something, this sort of guidebook is something that is very, very often asked for, and it's very dearly missed, very painfully missed at the moment. And we think Alvarado Week is a very good opportunity to publish such a guidebook. And the status quo here is that we do have the possibility to publish this guidebook in a publication series by the Monument Preservation Authority. There are already other publications on other sites, so that would be in good company. And at the moment, we are working very, very hard on the funding for that publication. The next step, as I said, will go on in September. We have scheduled a lot of network meetings with the local partners, being back from holiday in the next 2 weeks, and then we'll follow up with an open call for projects for local partners and regional and national-wide partners. That would be the next steps for us to do. And of course, planning the meeting of the Alvarado Cities Network in Wolfsburg, which hopefully really can take place in person with all of you, and because that is something will be starting on working now. I would actually start to close with some questions to you, because we would like to know what would be viable for you. Could you imagine to come to Wolfsburg for 2 or even 3 days? So we would have to have the possibility, for example, to include a stopover in Berlin, for you having the possibility, for example, to visit Berlin Hansaviertel and the Aalto building there. Are there particular things you are interested in when visiting Wolfsburg? As I heard about the housing areas in Kouvola, I just was thinking about, we do have housing areas from the 1930s in Wolfsburg that are very typical and landmark protected. Is that something that would be interesting for you? They're not by Alvarado, but it may be an interesting thing to talk about, how we deal with preservation of housing areas. For example, that is something I was just thinking about. Yes, that is some questions I do have for you, but that would be all from my side. And of course, I'm open for questions from you to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Esther. We can hardly wait to get to Wolfsburg, and so we'll be waiting for the invitation. Thank you. Time is running, and we have come to or actually at this point, maybe if we have some questions for Esther, we could have a few minutes for that. Does anybody or anyone on Teams? No, looks like it's the presentation was clear, and we'll go on. So we have the last part in our program called Other Business. And at this point, the floor is open, so we are looking for proposals or comments. Please raise your hand and ask for your turn. Yes, please.
Thank you, and thank you for all so good and interesting presentations. I like to say that city of Rovaniemi is very interesting to be Alvarado city. Maybe year 2024 is right for us, because we will start our city hall renovation. I hope that right now, but very soon, and I think that maybe 2024 might be good.
Thank you. Okay, we have next one.
Thank you. Oulu is the European capital of culture in 2026, and we propose that Oulu will host Alvarado Cities Network at the same year.
Thank you very much. So, Tommy, maybe you can correct me or tell what is happening next with this selection of the next Aalto cities or the hosts of the presidency of Aalto cities. Is it going to be next February that we have the next meeting?
Yes, according to normal schedules, we would have the mayor's meeting around Alvarado's birthday, which is 3rd of February. But it's very good to have these proposals already now. So if you don't have any objections to these two proposed dates or years, we still have to figure out which city is going to be the chairing city in 23. So we have one year missing in between. 24 and 26 have already been proposed. But if next year we're going to have this type of meeting that we have now here in Kouvola, if we're going to have that in the beginning of September in Wolfsburg, then I think we should have in the beginning of the year the meeting where you can decide on the next Aalto week and the next presidency. But do you have any comments on the made proposals?
Okay, thank you. Very good proposals, no comments on that. But on behalf of the city of Kotka, I think we would also like to host this this kind of meeting. It could be 23, but thinking of the geographical, let's say, the picture, do you want to come so soon back to Kymenlaakso region? So we could also be a little bit later.
Thank you. So both Rovaniemi and Oulu are very good proposals, and it's easy to agree with them. And also Kotka would be very interesting. It doesn't matter if we are here today and after 2 years people go to Kotka. So it's a good proposal too.
Yes, Ari.
Yes, very good proposals, and if Kotka doesn't want in 2023 or wants to discuss this, I think Imatra will consider this too, and I think regarding the preservation and project of the Kolmen Ristin kirkko, that would be also very good timing in terms of having gained momentum for investments for that project.
So if we don't have any other business, I guess then I'll give the floor to the to the president of this meeting and this year.
Okay, thank
Marita.
you. Thank you very much about this meeting, and want to congratulate City of Wolfsburg and hope that we will see each other in next year in Wolfsburg together. And now we are ready for the lunch, and we have this lunch downstairs. Okay, thank you very much, all of you. Thank you.